Are you finding yourself working from home as a mom, trying to manage kids and your job, your career? I gotcha. I feel ya. I'm in the same boat. This video is going to provide you with lots of really helpful ideas of how to structure your work week. This is how I do it, so I'm hoping that you can get some inspiration. Let's jump in. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself. If you are new here, my name is Julie. I'm an occupational therapist, a mom of 2 little ones with a 3rd one on the way. So life's gonna get busy again, and this whole schedule will probably change to accommodate the new addition, but for right now this is what has been working for me, so I really want to share some tips and hopefully you can implement these into your life as well. Don't forget to go ahead and subscribe, click that big thumbs up and notification button, especially if you like videos that are designed to improve your life through personal development, mindset, minimalism, simple living, all that good stuff. If at any point you need more support to help kind of redesign your life, make it more simple, kind of implement exactly what I have done to transform my life from completely chaotic to much more calm and controlled. Hey, we still have our moments, but it's a ton better. Then make sure you check out all the free resources. I have a really fun mini course that you can sign up for in the description box, and I also have my signature program which is called the Organized Mom that you can go and sign up to join. I would love to have you in that. And with all that said, here is how I structure my work week. As with everything on my channel, if you have been here at any point, even for 30 seconds, I'm all about the less is more. And this is no different when it comes to planning my week. I spent so much time trying different apps, digital calendars, paper calendars, books, to-do lists, computer stuff, digital things, and you know what? It was just too much. I couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't even maintain my system that is supposed to help me be more organized and help me plan my week. I mean, how sad is that? I realized I really had to pare it down. And so what I've done now is I literally have one book to keep track of. So it's this book. I've shared these before. These are journals technically, so they don't have calendars in them. So if you like the dates or something, this might not be the right book for you, but I like it because it gives me like carte blanche to use this book for a lot of different things. And for this phase in my life, because remember, everything is a season, nothing is permanent, and I can go back to color coding, highlighting, doodling, doing all that beautiful stuff that I did in high school when I had, well, not a care in the world when I look back. But for the moment, this book has basically blank pages, like literally nothing on them, to I guess for you to be inspired, but I use them for different things, and then lined paper. So I find like it's very easy for me to use it for multiple things, such as I could use it as an actual journal, so I could write down my deep dark thoughts if I wanted to. I also use it as a to-do list kind of book. I use it as a calendar kind of tracker thing, but mostly I use it to plan out my life and my thoughts. So I do a weekly plan, which I'll show you in a second. And then I also do a monthly plan. Let me know if you want a video on how I plan my months as a working from home mom. And also I have like a habit tracker that I've created in there. So it gives me a lot of flexibility. And obviously you get journals and diaries and things like that that probably have all of these things, but I just liked having a kind of blank slate that I could do it myself. So what I really did was scale it back to one book, and then I use my phone for appointments. So, you know, if you make a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment or something, often they will send you like something where you can just add it to your calendar. So I literally just use the iCal on my phone. I have different categories, but mostly they just go into kind of the family category or school, sometimes business if I wanted to. And then also, you know, things like school holidays for me to keep track of when the kids are off from school. I have that in my digital calendar, and it is shared with my husband. So by keeping things simple, I really focus on 1 to 3 things a day. Even just one. If I can just achieve one thing that really moves the needle in my business and in my work life, then I feel accomplished. And so instead of setting myself literally like 25 tasks, which are absolutely impossible to all fulfill, and also having them all look the same on a piece of paper, not prioritizing them. I now just focus on the things that I really need to get done. So for example, obviously I'm on YouTube, so I'm making videos. That's a key proponent of my business, whilst not the only thing, but that's something that's very important. So today, if the only thing that I get done is film this one video, yeah, I would love to film more, but let's just say I only filmed one video today, I would have achieved my goal. So I've really lowered the standards of what I think is actually possible. And I think as a mom, where we have so much disconnect between feeling unsatisfied and like we're failing, it's because we set these impossible expectations and then we always fall short, and this affects our self-esteem. We don't have any time for feeling sorry for ourselves. We want to come from a positive place. So that's what I recommend doing, is set the highest priority and do that if you can first, because then everything else is a delicious bonus. And if you get to change the linen on your bed, or you get to vacuum, or you get to return some emails that you weren't planning to do, that's awesome. You're winning at life. But if you don't, that's fine. You still filmed that video or whatever it is for you, made a very important phone call, or you know, created a presentation, whatever it is for you, you still did that, and that is really important. Obviously, you're going to scale this to however many things you have to do. I run my own business, so I have more control and autonomy, but I've also worked for, you know, very traditional organizations, and I know the pressure that they put on people to deliver things. I will let you in on a secret. Well, it's not a secret, but when you work in an office in a traditional 9-to-5 job, so say you're expected to be there for 8 to 9 to 10 hours, typically the average person gets interrupted so much by their colleagues and emails and silly unnecessary meetings that they probably are there physically for 10 hours a day, 9 hours a day, and only work for 3. So really, if you had to pare down the bare bones of what you need to do, you probably could get it done in a couple of hours, as long as you're very focused. So just keep that in mind. Prioritize one major thing a day. If you get that done, you're winning at life. I used to think that I needed to write down absolutely everything, and that was how I was going to be able to tick off my to-do list and feel so productive and all this kind of stuff. But most of the time, especially with kids, you are kind of forced to do things anyway. You can't not give your kids breakfast. You're not going to write that down. You cannot not get dressed, like you have to go out. So there's like natural things that will slowly start to just kind of happen that you don't need to be writing down. And the things that you do on a regular basis become habitual. So taking prenatal vitamins, like for me, I have to remember to do that. Brushing my dog's teeth, one of my goals of the year. Just basic stuff. I'm not writing that down anymore. I'm not wasting the time it takes to write it down and check it off. I'm just doing it, and then it gets done. It becomes a habit. It's kind of subconscious, and I'm focusing on the things that really need to get done. So as I said, I'll show you what my week looks like and how I organize it. Look, it's not beautiful. It's just kind of normal life. So here I just have 2 pieces of paper. I have the week. I like to start on a Sunday because that's kind of where my calendar starts. And I literally have on this day 1 thing to do. This day 2 things, 3 things, 2 things. This one has 4 things because it's kind of like, doesn't really matter. And then Friday, nothing really. This video will go live. So easy, and I can easily just do it myself. So I will do it for the next week over the weekend or something. It's probably going to take me 5 minutes. I enjoy kind of using pretty pens and my ruler and doing it in my book, and it's super easy and simple, and then I don't have to worry about it. The other thing that is super critical when it comes from working from home when you have children is I use their inherent structure to structure the time that I can work. So I realize that I am incredibly lucky and fortunate that my children are attending school in person. And let me tell you, this was not a light decision. We kind of waited last minute. We had to orchestrate a few things. So considering the current climate, like, I feel very fortunate. Now, in normal times, whatever that may be, you know, kids are typically going to school. Well, older children. You have that inherent thing, or perhaps you have a nanny or a babysitter or a parent that will help you or something like that, or maybe you're trading off with your partner. I don't think it's very easy to work with your kids No, it's impossible, I find. As my children are getting older though, I will give some hope. They do play by themselves and I can definitely like do a couple of things. But in terms of getting into deep focused work where I need like an hour or two to really do something, you know, productive, I think it is much better to be doing this on your own. I use especially my daughter's school time, because she only goes to school for say just under 3 hours a day, which is not very long. And when you look at that, you're like, oh my God, like I can't do that. That's too little. Like, how am I ever going to get this stuff done? But if you are super laser focused, as I said, people in an office are probably also only getting about 3 to 4 hours of work done anyway. You can really streamline processes, prioritize, and work during that time. So I try as much as I can to protect that time that she's at school for work. Now, life gets in the way, like you need to go and donate something and it can only happen then. Or the plumber can only come at this time. It happens to be during that time. Or it would be so much easier to meet a friend during my work time because then I don't have children with me. But typically, I try to maybe reserve 1 day a week where I can kind of do life stuff if I needed to, and the rest of the time I can focus on my business. So that's not to say that I don't work sometimes in the evenings when they're sleeping and that kind of stuff, but I know that I can work around her school schedule, and I also know ahead of time typically when there's no school and how that might affect my working balance. But it's all about my expectation, and maybe I work, if I can't work next week on one of the days because they're not at school, then perhaps I'm working for a couple of hours on the weekend to kind of make up for that. So it is about kind of being adaptable, having that balance, but I like to use the school structure because that is something that's been kind of imposed on us. We know that they're going to be out of the house between this time and this time, and that's when I get my work done. And that's when I prioritize that task that absolutely needs to get done, that is very hard to do when kids are around. So whatever that may be for you, that's when you have to just be like, what is absolutely essential? And I think this is a skill. You know, I felt overwhelmed for a long period of time of like, how do I even prioritize? How do I sift through all of the kind of noise in my head to really decide what to focus on? And you just have to try. You just have to practice. You just have to get into a habit of doing things consistently, especially if you work for yourself. You have to be very self-motivated. You're not relying on someone else, but it's also a wonderful thing because you can really tailor your life. And on that note, something that I think is really crucial is, what are your values? That should be the driving force behind everything. And this took me a long time to really recognize. And what I mean by that, I know values kind of stumps a lot of people, that word, but it's like, what is important to you in this life? And so some examples, if it'll just help you, are relationships, health, wealth or wealth generation, family, creativity. I mean, there's so many things that could be a value. Community, giving back, all this kind of stuff. What are your top values? And for me, right now in my life with young children that I feel need me or I want to be around, my value is family, which is why I quit my full-time job, because I just couldn't give them the attention that I wanted to in this period of time. 0 to 8 age, so crucial for children. You know, that's when their whole inner voice is being developed, and that's a whole other video. If you want me to talk about that, I talk about that forever. I wanted to walk the talk. So if I'm telling everybody, yeah, my main value or the most important thing to me is my family, and I'm super career oriented or have to sacrifice my family time for my career, that to me doesn't vibe, right? That is in a way hypocritical. So you need to think about for yourself, what is your value? If right now your value is wealth generation, you know, you need to generate wealth for your family, that is where your focus is going to be. It doesn't mean that you have to work like 20 hours a day, but that is where your priority lies. And so for me, with family being the core right now, I knew that I needed to work around my children. So when my kids are not at home or they are sleeping, that is my opportunity to work, not when they are awake and, you know, active and I should be parenting them, or someone needs to be parenting them, and that would be me. So that's how I kind of look at everything. That is the lens through which I analyze things, and that really helps me. So this video is getting really long because clearly I have a lot to talk about. I really hope that you got some value from this. Just keep it simple, just cut out the noise, prioritize that one task that you really need to do. If you like videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe, click the notification bell, give this video a big thumbs up. I'm also thinking about doing a tips for working from home video to help you be really efficient and productive, because let's be honest, 2021 is basically an extension of 2020 at this point, although I think we're more experienced now, and we're going to be working from home or in some capacity, some hybrid model at least, for the foreseeable future. And it's really important that you maximize that time, because I do think there are some amazing advantages to working from home. But I'm going to share with you my top tips for getting super focused for working at home so that you make all those hours count and you don't have to feel like you're working all the time and never get anything done. So make sure you leave me a comment if you would like me to do that. I just realized when I was planning this video, I have so much to say on the topic and so many things that I found have helped me that I wanted to share. But this video is going to be like an hour long if I do that. Make sure you look at the free resources in the description and check out my Organized Mom signature program. Follow me on Instagram for more updates, and I will see you in my next video.